I don't have a. I was so raw, or what do I say, innocent or something. I didn't know that it'd be okay to go where Prabhupada was giving darshan and actually listen. So I was like someplace else, looking through windows to try to get a glimpse of him. I mean, devotees were kind of funny. Like I was sitting there, and sometimes I would see devotees, like heads pop up outside the windows of the house. They're trying to get a glimpse of Prabhupada, trying to get a glimpse of Prabhupada. So one day Arvinda said, yeah, you can go in there. I said, really? So I sat down, and it was just at the end, Prabhupada was speaking, and he was comparing this material world to a dream. He said, isn't it just like a dream? He said, suppose, you have a dream and you think you're the king. You really think you're the king. But when you wake up, what reality is there? So similarly, we have these bodies, we have this identity as American or Indian or whatever. But what is the reality of that thing? And it was, it was finished. In that place, just simple experiences, and some of them may seem mundane, but just nothing is mundane with Prabhupada. For example, in the house there, one time Prabhupada was in the bathroom, came out of the bathroom, and I didn't know he was in there, so I needed to use the bathroom. And all of a sudden the door opens, and there's, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jagat Guru. And, whoa, what do I do? There's no place to offer obeisances. I don't know what to do. And Prabhupada, Jai. That's all he said. And then, you may remember a section of the Bhagavatam, Jada Yoga, Rishabdev, that he does this thing where he, lie down in his own stool and his own urine because it's like lotus flowers. It smells like lotus flowers because he's so pure. So I walk into that bathroom after Prabhupada used it, and oh my God, it was like flowers, It was just like an overwhelmingly beautiful scent in the bathroom. We were in Africa next, and my friend here, Parameshwari, and Bivakar, and somebody else, maybe Charnarvindam, we're sitting around. Bivakar's got his nose in the atlas. He said, oh, look at here. There's this island out 1,000 miles off the coast, east coast. Got like a million Hindus on it or something. Why don't we go there? So in Prabhupada style, actually Parameshwari went there first, and they said, yeah, it's a good place. So Bivakar and I went next. And Bivakar and I went Prabhupada style. And what that means is we had a trunk of books, enough rupees that you could count on your fingers, and a letter of introduction. And we started. And that is not such a rich place. So it was a bit of a struggle. But after, I don't know, maybe a year or so, somebody came up with the idea. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Mr. Gautam Tilak, who was the secretary to the Minister of Agriculture in Mauritius, that why doesn't your guru meet the Prime Minister? And that was suggested to Prabhupada. Yeah, it's very good. Prabhupada would like to speak to leading people. So we made all kinds of arrangements, and Prabhupada came once. Somebody donated to us for a couple months a beautiful beach house to stay in for Srila Prabhupada. And then he went to South Africa, he came back and stayed in another beach house in the south. It was very nice. As far as that goes, a couple of the experiences that stand out in my mind. One time, for example, Prabhupada was going on the morning walk. And in Mauritius, the main crop was sugar cane at that time. And some of the guys on the sugar cane trucks were a little silly, I'll say. And they like to mock us. They see us and Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dam, like this. So they did that even when we were walking with Srila Prabhupada. And so one of the devotees said, Prabhupada, what happens to a person when they chant Hare Krishna like that? And with a lot of conviction, he said, they are liberated. In Mauritius, well, really there were only 3 of us, and when Prabhupada came, I think Pushta Krishna, at that time Swami, came up from South Africa, and Harikesh came, and who was it, back to Godhead, Bhugarba, was that his name? Bhargava came, and a couple others came. So there's still only 9 of us. So we got to do, all of Prabhupada's services. And one thing stands out to me, that he was taking every day a glass of carrot juice in the afternoon. And one day he asked, how many carrots does it take to make this glass of carrot juice? And when he heard the number of carrots it took, he said, no more. I think Pusta Krishna was giving him a massage. No, he was reading from the fifth canto. The fifth canto had just come out, and Prabhupada was knocking the moon thing and going off on that. But Pusta Krishna was reading from the reactions to sinful activity part, and Prabhupada was taking his massage from whomever. Chechu Guru, actually. And Pusta Krishna looked up at Srila Prabhupada at one point and said, Prabhupada, is this really what happens to someone when they do this? And Prabhupada kind of chuckled. So it was almost, he couldn't understand whether he was like, he said yes, but the way he chuckled was sort of like, well, it's not real. In the sense that we're spirit soul and we actually have nothing to do with this material world. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita, it's superfluous to the soul. So there was sort of that mood in his chuckle, I thought. But at the same time, he said, yes. So let's continue. There is a darshan I also remember in Mayapur in his room. And Sudama Swami came in, and Siddha Swarup at that time, Maharaj, came in. Siddha Swarup was like effulgent as far as I was concerned. He was a really interesting person. But there was some, I don't know, I'll say politics, going on between him and some of the bigger other sannyasis, GPC, whatever. And so when he came in the room, Prabhupada turned to Siddha Swarup and said, so Siddha Swarup Maharaj, I understand that you have a different philosophy than we do. And Siddha Swarup, Prabhupada, he said, isn't it, Sudama? Sudama kind of hangs his head. I don't want to get involved in this. And then Siddha Swarup said, well, Prabhupada, sometimes I preach to the householders that they should live outside the temple and have their own independent thing. Prabhupada said, yes, that's a very good idea. That's a good idea. And then he said, Siddha Swarup said, Prabhupada, sometimes I just don't feel qualified. Prabhupada cut him off. And he said, qualified or unqualified, I love you. I was like, the way you said it was just, and I'd never met Siddha Swarup before, and then I talked to him privately later and heard a little bit about some of the stuff, but I just thought that was just the most liberal and affectionate statement that could come out of anybody's mouth, especially such an elevated personality. Qualified or unqualified, I love you. Jai Anilo Premadana Karuna Prachu